Married for 5 years, every man in the capital circle envies this blind man. Not only did I marry a genius in the field of smart technology, but my wife is also deeply affectionate and devoted. Serena Shin demands it every night, and afterwards, she personally helps me clean my body. During one passionate encounter, my sight suddenly returned. I discovered that the person making love to me wasn't Serena Shin at all, but a faceless robot. In the dim light, I heard Serena Shin's familiar cooing. And in her arms, she was holding a life-sized simulation robot identical to her adopted brother. So, for all these years, Serena Shin has never touched me. Every night has been like this. The so-called deep affection and devotion have never been for me. In the silent night, an ambiguous atmosphere filled the bedroom. I looked at Serena Shin in shock as she obsessively stroked the face identical to her adopted brother, Simon Shin. This kind of tender caress, after 5 years of sharing a bed, I had never received. Serena Shin was about to reach her peak, and she quickly pressed the controller in her hand. The robot beneath me instantly covered my ears, but I still heard that deeply affectionate murmur, "Simon." After it was over, Serena Shin glanced at me coldly and instructed the robot to help me clean my body. She carefully protected that Simon Shin substitute, afraid that the sweat on my body would soil him. Even though it wasn't the real Simon Shin, she wouldn't allow him to be defiled by me. So that's why she always rushed me to clean my body after each encounter. Simon Shin is Serena Shin's adopted brother, with no blood relation. Serena's mother dedicated her life to charity, bringing 5-year-old Simon Shin back from an orphanage. For over a decade, Serena Shin has been exceptionally doting on this brother. I always thought it was familial love, but I never knew she harbored such feelings in her heart. Everyone in the capital circle knows that I've been in love with Serena Shin since I was young, but she wouldn't even spare me a glance. In high school, she was ganged up on by older students. I was the one who charged in with a brick, getting beaten bloody but still protecting her behind me. Friends in the circle teased her, "Serena, this little childhood sweetheart of yours is quite the tough guy, a hero saving the beauty. Aren't you going to give yourself to him?" Serena Shin's expression changed upon hearing this. She looked at Simon Shin in her arms in a panic, frowning, "Don't talk nonsense." I didn't act because I was afraid of scaring Simon. Who asked him to be a busybody? Later, when she took over the Shin family's company, she was targeted by business rivals who hired someone to harm her. To help her block a fatal blow, I suffered a severe head injury, resulting in immediate blindness. Friends teased her again, "Serena, Ethan has gone blind for you this time. This deep affection is too rare. Aren't you going to marry him quickly?" But she said, "I don't want to take advantage of someone's gratitude, that's not who I am. Besides, I haven't investigated the background of those people. Who knows if he orchestrated it himself?" So she thought I deliberately had myself blinded to marry her. I completely lost hope and prepared to accept my family's arrangement for a blind date. But the night before the blind date, she appeared at my door reeking of alcohol, without even wearing a coat. "Ethan Chin, don't you like me? Don't go on the blind date. No one wants a blind man. Marry me." I thought she had figured out the truth and was finally willing to accept me. Her words made my dark world as beautiful as a fairy tale. Overjoyed, I nodded and agreed without hesitation. But I couldn't see the unconcealable sadness and helplessness in her eyes, or the reluctance in her tone. Later, I learned from her best friend that Simon Shin's shower had broken that night, so he ran to Serena Shin's room to shower. Serena Shin, returning fro. MA social engagement, happened to see Simon Shin wrapped in a bath towel. Her fist clenched and unclenched, and finally, before losing control and making a mistake, she draped her coat over him and fled as if escaping. Originally, this was just a coincidence, and I never took it to heart because I loved her so much. Now I understand that everything had been foreshadowed all along. Married for 5 years, Serena Shin has never kissed me, never hugged me, and never allowed me to touch her voluntarily. But I always deceived myself, thinking it was her cold personality. If she didn't have feelings for me, why would she make love to me every night and help me clean my body afterward? But I never dreamed that she never touched me at all. Serena Shin is my first love and my first woman. It's laughable that my first time was with a robot without even a face. She's using this method to express her loyalty to Simon Shin. Probably because she thought I was blind, the bathroom door wasn't closed. The robot seemed to malfunction today, getting the water temperature wrong. I was violently pushed into the icy cold bathtub, letting out a gasp. But Serena Shin didn't even look at me. She treated the substitute like a treasure, using a handkerchief to clean the traces on his body and kissing his lips repeatedly, murmuring, "Simon, Erica wants you." After it was over, the robot pushed me back onto the bed roughly again. Serena Shin picked up the substitute, not realizing that my sight had returned, and looked down at me condescendingly. "You can sleep by yourself. I have work to do and will sleep in the study tonight. I'll take you to the hospital for a checkup tomorrow." Every time after having sex, she would find an excuse to leave. I used to think she was really busy, but now I know that she would rather sleep with Simon Shin's simulation robot than sleep in the same bed as me. The so-called sex was just a means to cope, to avoid arousing my suspicion. I numbly watched her back and took out my phone to call my sister in France. "Erica, I want to go home." "You ungrateful brat, you still remember your sister? By the way, your eyes aren't good, so Serena the genius should accompany you back to your in-laws' house, right?" My sister had already transferred the family business to France 5 years ago and settled there. But I stayed in China alone for Serena Shin. I smiled bitterly. "Erica, I can see again, and I'm planning to get a divorce." Erica was silent for a while. She had seen how I pursued Serena Shin and how Serena Shin ignored me. If I hadn't been determined to marry Serena Shin, she would never have agreed to this marriage. "Leave if you want to leave. What's so great about her being a Shin? The moment you divorce, your sister will introduce you to 180 models. Serena Shin will realize one day what a treasure she lost. Let her regret it." After agreeing on a time to return home with my sister, I put down my phone and found a divorce agreement template online. Thinking of what my sister had just said, I laughed at myself. Serena Shin only has Simon Shin in her heart. How could she regret my departure? She only married me to restrain her desires, and I was just a convenient tool. And Serena Shin's only compensation for me saving her was to take me to the hospital for an eye exam every week as a matter of routine. I also wanted to know if my eyes had temporarily recovered or were completely healed, so I didn't tell her about the return of my vision. Passing by the obstetrics and gynecology department, I met her friend Chelsea Ching. Chelsea Ching teased, "Serena, you and Ethan have been married for 5 years, right? Why isn't there any good news yet? When will I finally see you two in the office?" Chelsea Ching is a famous chief physician in obstetrics and gynecology. Serena Shin glanced at me, her tone indifferent. "I don't like children. We'll talk about it later." I felt a burst of irony in my heart. Married for 5 years, I've always wanted a child, but there's never been any good news. I thought I was unhealthy, drinking those bitter Chinese medicines cup after cup. Serena Shin always watched coldly, letting me vomit from the medicine. Now I understand that she doesn't even want me to touch her, so how could she want to have a child with me? The next second, Serena Shin looked behind me, her eyes suddenly sharp and her face gloomy. I turned around and saw Simon Shin hugging a woman, holding a report in his hand and smiling happily. Serena Shin pushed me away, rushed to him, her eyes red with jealousy. "Simon Shin, why are you here? Do you have a girlfriend? Why didn't you tell me? How can you let another woman have your child? I'll give you 3 seconds to make this wild woman scram. The child can be born. I'll help you raise it." You see, even if Simon Shin's child isn't hers, she's willing to help him raise it. So she doesn't dislike children, she just doesn't want to have children with me. Simon Shin was stunned. He looked at me, then at the obstetrics and gynecology department sign, and his eyes immediately turned red. He cried, "What if I have a girlfriend? Why should I tell you? I'm not important to you at all." Serena Shin clenched her fist tightly, trying to restrain her emotions, but her voice couldn't hide her urgency. "Don't be silly. Who said you weren't important? You're more important to Erica than anyone else. You're lying. You haven't even comforted me to sleep in ages. You don't play with me either. Now that you're going to be a mom, you'll be focused on your husband and child. What am I supposed to do?" Stop trying to control me. Simon Shin seemed to think of something and looked at me venomously. He snatched a glass bottle from a passing nurse, containing an unknown liquid. The nurse shouted in panic, "What are you doing?" "That's sulfuric acid." Simon Shin sneered, rushed to my side, pried open my mouth, and poured the sulfuric acid into my mouth. "It's all because of this blind man, forcing my sister to marry you. Ever since my sister got married, she's been avoiding me. You must have been saying something behind my back. Now you probably want to use the child to tie my sister to your side, right? I'll wash your stinking mouth properly and see how you can encourage my sister to alienate me." A severe burning sensation came from deep in my throat. I clutched my neck, collapsing to the ground in pain, feeling my breathing become increasingly difficult. Before losing consciousness, I saw Chelsea Ching frantically calling for people to send me to the emergency room. And my wife, Serena Shin, was holding Simon Shin in her arms, anxiously checking his hand to see if any sulfuric acid had splashed on it, without even a glance at me. I closed my eyes in despair, tears streaming down my face. So, love and hate are this obvious. When I opened my eyes again, I was lying in an ordinary hospital room, receiving an 4 drip, the pain in my throat undiminished. I tried to swallow, and was immediately overcome with pain. Chelsea Ching pushed the door open. Seeing that I was awake, she said, I asked my colleagues. Although the rescue was timely, your esophagus and stomach lining are severely burned. Even if you can still talk, your voice won't return to normal. You can't eat anything for the next few days, you can only receive 4 fluids. Although I was mentally prepared, I was still shocked by my own hoarse voice. Did you send me to the emergency room? Where's Serena Shin? Every word felt like torture. Chelsea Ching paused, her expression somewhat unnatural. She's in the VIP room. Simon Shin's finger was splashed with sulfuric acid and he got a small blister. Serena is busy taking care of him and can't get away. Chelsea Ching seemed embarrassed and quickly left after giving a few instructions. I stood there in a daze, unsure of what to say. Since when did I, the flamboyant and unrestrained Ethan Chin, become Th. is miserable mess? I stayed in the hospital for a whole week. Serena Shin hired a caregiver to take care of me, but she never showed up. On the day the pain in my throat eased slightly, I called the police and reported Simon Shin for intentional assault. They called me back quickly, their tone impatient. "Mr. Chin, do you know that it's illegal to make a false police report?" I was stunned. "What do you mean?" "Your wife just came to withdraw the case, saying that you two had an argument a few days ago, and you were the one who couldn't think straight, voluntarily drank sulfuric acid, and wanted to frame someone else." Mr. Chin, do you know how terrible your behavior is? Considering the minor nature of the incident and your physical condition, we're only imposing a fine of 500 yuan this time. Your wife has already paid it. Please don't waste national resources next time. How could this be? I said anxiously. I didn't, the people at the hospital can. Before I could finish speaking, Serena Shin kicked open the hospital room door, grabbed the phone, and hung up directly. Her face was ugly. "Ethan Chin, are you determined to make things difficult for Simon? What good will it do you to send Simon to jail? He's been spoiled since he was a child, how can he endure those hardships? Don't be so cruel." I laughed in anger, pointing to my throat. "He can't endure it, but I can?" Serena Shin, listen to yourself. What has happened to my voice? The doctor said it can never be restored. You can ignore me, but I must seek justice for myself. Hearing my voice, hoarse as an old bellows, Serena Shin's eyes flashed with pity, but her attitude was firm. Simon was impulsive this time. He didn't know I wasn't pregnant, it wasn't intentional. I've already punished him with house arrest, so don't hold it against him. Is that so? What kind of house arrest? Serena Shin was silent for a moment and said, "He's not allowed to go anywhere except by my side for this whole week. Don't worry, I'll keep a close eye on him." In other words, Simon Shin will be living at home for this whole week? I immediately smiled sarcastically. We've been married for 5 years, when have you ever kept me by your side? Now he poured sulfuric acid down my throat, and if it weren't for the timely rescue, I would have lost my life, but he's unharmed and can be by your side every day, flaunting in front of me, making me feel terrible? Serena Shin, do you think I'm an idiot? You just want to see him every day, to relieve your longing. Serena Shin's face darkened instantly. Enough. Simon and I are just siblings. Stop ruining his reputation. I'm letting him stay at home to keep an eye on him so he doesn't act impulsively again. Are you even jealous of your brother-in-law? Don't be so inconsiderate. You're blind. Keeping you by my side all day is irresponsible for your safety. Even if you don't like Simon, you can't see him anyway, so what's there to feel terrible about? This matter ends here. Don't even think about getting the hospital and Chelsea Ching to testify for you. Chelsea Ching is my friend, and this hospital is Shin family's property. You can't get any evidence. Her words were like sharp knives, stabbing my already bleeding heart again and again. Perhaps because I had been shouting too much, the wound in my throat was torn open again, and blood gushed from the corner of my mouth. Serena Shin's eyebrows furrowed, and she quickly pressed the call bell by the bed. Doctors and nurses rushed in to apply medicine to me. I struggled desperately in pain and was held down. Serena Shin's phone rang. Simon Shin said coquettishly, "Erica, where did you go?" "Simon hasn't eaten and his stomach hurts. Your nanny's cooking isn't good. I want to eat what my brother makes," Serena Shin said gently. "Okay, Erica will go back and make it for you." I don't know where I got the strength, but I pushed away the nurses and doctors and grabbed Serena Shin's sleeve. "Serena, I'm in so much pain. Please, stay with me, just this once, please?" Serena Shin hesitated for a few seconds, but ultimately pushed my hand away. "The caregiver will take good care of you. Simon needs me, I can't ignore him. I'll pick you up in a few days." My heart instantly turned to ashes, and I asked quietly, "Serena Shin, have you ever loved me?" Serena Shin stopped at the door, was silent for a long time, and said, "You lost your sight to save me. I'll take care of you for the rest of my life. But I will never allow anyone to harm Simon, even if you are my husband." There wasn't another word besides that. Serena Shin left without hesitation. And my heart died completely. On the day I went home, Simon Shin was instructing people to clear out my walk-in closet. My clothes were being trampled on the ground, and Serena Shin turned a blind eye. I saw Simon Shin mouth to her, "He's blind anyway, he can't see it." Serena Shin looked at him helplessly and indulgently. Simon Shin skipped over, "Brother-in-law, Erica has bought me so many clothes and gifts these days that she has to use your walk-in closet. You shouldn't mind, right? I'm leaving anyway, and everything here has nothing to do with me." Whatever. I knew brother-in-law was the most generous. I was too impulsive that day. I'm insecure. Erica has always been the one who loves me the most. I was afraid that if she had children, she would focus all her attention on you, so I accidentally hurt you. Serena Shin winked at him, and Simon Shin reluctantly took out a piece of paper and handed it to me. Erica explained everything to me. To show my sincerity, I even wrote a self-criticism. "Brother-in-law, take a look, don't show it to Erica, who asked her to be fierce to me that day. I didn't cheat with another woman, my friend just had period cramps, I just accompanied her to the hospital, Erica was just being anxious." He knew I was blind, but he still wrote the so-called self-criticism, without saying a single word of apology. He wasn't sincere at all. But Serena Shin rubbed his head with satisfaction. Good, Erica misunderstood you, Erica apologizes to you, our Simon is the most sensible. I pursued Serena Shin for so many years, and she hurt me countless times, but she never treated me so gently, and never said sorry. I glanced at the paper as if unintentionally. The content wasn't a self-criticism at all. It was densely filled with 2 words repeated over and over, "Dog's hit." Anger welled up in my heart, and I tore the paper to shreds in a fit of rage, throwing it at Simon Shin. "Is this your apology?" Serena Shin shielded Simon Shin behind her and pushed me to the ground, angrily saying, "Ethan Chin, Simon sincerely apologized to you, what do you mean by this?" I laughed in anger. "Apology? Why don't you ask him what he wrote?" A look of doubt flashed in Serena Shin's eyes, and she subconsciously wanted to pick up the pieces. Simon Shin immediately pulled her back and cried, "Of course I wrote an apology, brother-in-law thinks I'm deliberately humiliating him because he can't see? Erica, you know, I've always been so carefree. I'm not deliberately forgetting brother-in-law's eyes. I sincerely wanted to apologize to brother-in-law. Sob, sob, sob. Serena Shin's heart was immediately thrown into chaos by his crying, and she said coldly to me, Ethan Chin, I said that matter ends here. Simon also knows he was wrong. He's always been thin-skinned, and it took a lot of courage and sincerity for him to take the initiative to write a self-criticism. It's not his fault you're blind. Is it necessary to make things so difficult for a young boy? I suddenly laughed, tears streaming down my face. You're right, it's not his fault I'm blind, it's my fault. My mistake was that I shouldn't have fallen in love with you. Serena Shin, let's get a divorce. Serena Shin was stunned and frowned. Divorce? You only have me in China. You're blind. If you leave me, are you PLA? Ning to go out and beg? I only said a few words to you, and you're making such a big fuss. Since you don't want to live peacefully, then you can stay in this house by yourself. When you realize you're wrong, have the nanny call me. After speaking, she left with Simon Shin. I looked at her back and smiled bitterly. Serena Shin, you'll never get my call again. That night, Simon Shin updated his social media. Serena Shin took him to an auction and spent a fortune on him, bidding on all kinds of expensive jewelry. And Serena Shin also called me. I was also responsible for what happened today. I should have reminded Simon that you couldn't see. Next time I'll have him say it, but you shouldn't have made him lose face so much and hurt his self-esteem. I bought you a men's ring at the auction. I'll give it to you when I get back as compensation. Ha, she bought more than 100 pieces of jewelry for Simon Shin, and I only deserve to get one piece, which she's giving me as charity. I didn't say anything and hung up the phone directly. In the evening, I gave the maids and nannies a vacation and packed all my belongings, throwing them in the trash downstairs. When I came back, I found Simon Shin standing by the window. Our eyes met, and he revealed a knowing look. You can see after all, but what's the use? Erica only cares about me. She's cooking dinner for me in the mansion I bought right now. You'll never be able to take her away. I smiled indifferently. I know, so I'm not taking her anymore. He looked at me suspiciously. What do you mean? I took him to the study, to Serena Shin's safe that was taller than a person. It's funny, even the safe's password is Simon Shin's birthday. Seeing the simulation robot inside, Simon Shin was shocked. You've seen it all. The person Serena Shin loves is you. We've been married for 5 years, but she's only let the robot sleep with me. She's never touched me. Every day she vents her feelings on your simulation robot. I too. Okay, out the divorce agreement and handed it to him. Simon Shin, I'm tired of this 3-person game. I'm quitting. You guys can play it yourselves. Remember to give her the divorce agreement for me. After speaking, I didn't look at him again, left alone, and went straight to the airport. At the same time, although Serena Shin was cooking, she kept looking at her phone, feeling increasingly strange. This seems to be the first time I hung up on her. Realizing this, Serena Shin's hand stung. Because she was absent-minded, she forgot to dry the fish before frying it, and was splashed by the oil, visibly raising a small blister. Serena Shin suddenly remembered that at the hospital that day, Simon Shin's hand was splashed with just a little sulfuric acid and he got a small blister, and he cried from the pain. But I was force-fed so much sulfuric acid, she could even hear the sizzling sound of the sulfuric acid corroding my skin. I collapsed on the ground in pain at the time, but I didn't shed a single tear. Serena Shin thought, does this man not know pain? She quickly rejected the idea. Since I was little, I liked to chase after her, and could be considered a childhood sweetheart. She knew me well, and knew I was most afraid of pain. She remembered that the time I heroically helped her smack away the older students with a brick. I pointed at my bloody forehead and cried to her, Serena, it hurts so much, I need Erica's kiss to make it better. Serena Shin laughed dismissively at the time. Dream on, Clinny pest. But next time, I would still be happy to repeat the same trick. But why didn't I cry to her that day? When Serena Shin came back to her senses, the fish in the pot had been stabbed to pieces by her. She's someone who's meticulous in everything she does, a perfectionist. This is the first time she's been so distracted. Is it because of that clingy pest? Acting on a whim, Serena Shin called me, but I didn't answer until the phone automatically hung up. Serena SH. And looked at the screen in surprise. It's one thing for me to hang up on her, but to not even answer her phone? This is more outrageous than Mars colliding with Earth. In the past, no matter when she called, I would answer almost instantly. Later, when my eyes were injured and I couldn't see, I even had the nanny accompany me to familiarize myself with the button positions over and over again, afraid of missing her call. What's going on now? Still sulking? When did he become so petty? I never bored to ignore her, no matter how far she went. The more Serena thought about it, the more irritated she became, and she called the nanny. What is Mr. Chin doing? Why isn't he answering the phone? I don't know. Mr. Chin gave us all a long vacation. Serena frowned instantly and scolded. Why didn't you tell me? Mr. Chin can't see. If something happens to him at home alone, can you afford the responsibility? Go back right now. Forget it, I'm closer, I'll go back. She wanted to see what that clingy pest was up to. As soon as she arrived downstairs, she saw several property cleaners surrounding a pile of bags and clothes, looking excited. Oh, I recognize this English. My son said this brand of shoes is very expensive. You can sell it for a lot of money online. Today is a lucky day. This shirt is also nice. Look at the material. It looks expensive. Serena squinted for a while, realized what was happening, and rushed over, roaring, "Where did you get these things from? You're hired by the owner to provide services, not to break into houses and steal the owner's belongings. Based on the price of these things alone, I can have you locked up until you die." The cleaning lady was disgruntled but knew that the residents of this neighborhood were all wealthy and influential people she couldn't afford to offend. She stammered, Don't accuse an innocent person. We found all this in the trash." A handsome gentleman threw it away. "I have a video if you don't believe me. See for yourself." Luckily, the cleaning lady had the foresight to record a video of me throwing things away, in case things became unclear later. Seeing that it was indeed me who had thrown those things away, Serena widened her eyes in disbelief. Those clothes and shoes were all birthday gifts she had given me. Even though I couldn't see, I always smiled and hugged them tightly, as if I had received a great treasure. It was obvious that she just wanted to avoid trouble and casually asked her assistant to buy something to appease me. But now, I was risking my blindness to go out alone and throw these things away. Why? Serena thumped her chest, feeling a sudden tightness there, but couldn't figure out the reason. She glared coldly at the cleaning ladies. "If you have the guts, take them." The cleaning ladies were intimidated by her gaze and awkwardly left, muttering something about a crazy person, always stingy, even with trash. Serena had always been meticulous about cleanliness, but today, for some reason, she actually picked up those dirty clothes and bags and went home. Only when she stood inside did she realize that the house felt unusually empty. Besides the things in her arms, all my other belongings were gone. "Ethan? Where are you?" Footsteps came from upstairs. Serena instinctively breathed a sigh of relief and frowned. "Why did you throw everything away for no reason? And why aren't you answering your phone? Are you deliberately trying to make me angry? You can't even see. Do you know how dangerous it is to go out alone?" Her words stopped abruptly, because the person who appeared wasn't me, but Simon holding the lifelike robot. "Erica, didn't Ethan throw those things away? Why are you bringing trash into the house?" He walked shyly to Serena. "Ethan told me everything. Turns out you like me so much, Erica. Why didn't you say so sooner? Simon also likes Erica. If I had known how you felt, I wouldn't let you be with the robot." Serena looked at the robot in his arms in shock. Embarrassment and shame welled up inside her, making her want to run away. She never wanted Simon to know her dirty thoughts, but... "Wait, you said Ethan told you?" "Yes, his eyes recovered a long time ago. He knows that you haven't touched him all these years and that you have feelings for me, so he took the initiative to divorce you and went back to France." Simon threw himself into Serena's arms. "No one will get in our way anymore. Simon wants to be with Erica forever." Serena took the divorce agreement, her face pale. "Ethan knew? So that's why he stopped crying to her?" Serena used to find Ethan annoying, clingy and garrulous, and lacking any sense of restraint, as if he wanted to declare his love for her to the whole world. The year she graduated from high school, she got drunk at a party, and Ethan Chin, upon hearing the news, rushed over and single-handedly took down all the guys who had been forcing her to drink. Then, while carrying her home, he kept nagging, "You big idiot, why are you so gullible? You just drink when people tell you to, don't you know you have a bad stomach?" Luckily, your young master came to the rescue in time, you should be grateful, Serena Shin. She angrily wanted to say who cared about his rescue, but as soon as she opened her mouth, she threw up all over him. Not only was Ethan Chin not angry, but he also took the initiative to clean her up. See, what did I tell you? Uncomfortable, right? Drink this hangover medicine. I specially stole my sister's imported stuff and kept it warm in my arms. It's not cold, drink it, you fool. Serena Shin had never met a man who talked so much in her life, but that hangover medicine was indeed warm and sweet. Ethan Chin had done countless things like that, and even after he went blind, he always found a way to appear by her side. So much so that Serena Shin felt that Ethan Chin would never leave her and would cling to her like this for the rest of her life, annoying her to death. But now, she was suddenly told that the clingy person was no longer clinging to her, that he was gone, and she was so unaccustomed to it. Serena Shin felt inexplicably angry. On what basis? He was the one who said he liked her and clung to her in the beginning. Now she wanted to give up? She didn't agree. Serena Shin took out her phone and asked her assistant to book the earliest flight to France. She was going to bring that little rascal back. She put on her coat and was about to leave, but Simon Shin grabbed her arm, looking at her with teary eyes. "Erica, where are you going? Are you going to find Ethan? The person you like is clearly me, and now I'm right in front of you. You don't have to vent your desires on a robot anymore. Why are you leaving again? Have you fallen in love with Ethan?" Simon Shin hugged her waist. "Erica, don't leave Simon alone." Serena Shin was stunned. Had she fallen in love with Ethan Chin? No, impossible. The one she loved was Simon Shin. She was just annoyed that Ethan Chin had ended this tangled game without her permission. She was silent for a long time, then hugged Simon Shin back, as if speaking to him and also convincing herself, "Erica won't leave you. I'm not going anywhere." That's what she said, but when Simon Shin appeared in her bed that night, dressed in revealing clothes, Serena Shin hesitated. Simon Shin wrapped his arms around her neck seductively. "Serena, don't you want me? Today I'm yours, do whatever you want, okay?" Serena Shin had dreamed countless times that one day Simon Shin would stop calling her Erica and call her by her name. But now that her wish had come true, she felt so awkward. Her tone? The way he said it? What exactly was awkward? In the end, Serena Shin realized that it was probably because the person calling her that in bed was the wrong one. Serena Shin pushed Simon Shin away. "Simon, we're siblings. You should still call me Erica." Simon Shin cried. "We're not related by blood. Don't you like me? I like you too. We should be together. Do you despise me because I'm just an adopted son of your family and won't be helpful to your future career, so you don't want to marry me? And no, that's not it. Give me some time to sort out my thoughts, and I'll marry you." Serena Shin herself couldn't admit how reluctant she sounded when she said that. She ran away as if escaping, not seeing the resentful look in Simon Shin's eyes. Simon Shin moved out that night, but Serena Shin didn't look for him. She was thinking, what exactly did she feel for Ethan Chin? She used to think that Ethan Chin was annoying. Even when they lived under the same roof, she turned a blind eye to him. But now that Ethan Chin was really gone, she felt that everywhere she looked, she saw his figure. Smiling, angry, aggrieved, coquettish, even frustrated. Was she sick? So she called Chelsea Chang and told her everything that had happened recently. After listening, Chelsea Chang mocked, "Yes, you're sick, lovesick. What nonsense are you talking about? How could I fall in love with that clingy person? You don't like him? Then why are you calling me?" "Serena, it's not shameful to like Ethan Chin. Back then, every young lady in the capital circle, except you, liked Ethan Chin. Only you treated that black-hearted Simon Shin like a treasure. Serena Shin frowned and was about to speak, but Chelsea Ching interrupted her. I know what you're going to say. Don't be unhappy to hear this, but Simon Shin is not a good person. In families like ours, we've seen all sorts of dirty and evil things. It was the first time I'd ever seen someone so vicious as to pour sulfuric acid on someone. As for that written apology of his, who knows what nonsense he wrote. Serena Shin walked to the trash can. Ethan Chin had given the nanny a vacation in such a hurry that she hadn't had time to take out the trash. She casually pieced tea together a piece and could see the words on it. Serena Shin clenched her fist. So, that day, she had really misunderstood Ethan Chin. Chelsea Ching was right. The next day, Serena Shin saw in someone else's social media post that Simon Shin and a blonde woman with blue eyes were tongue-kissing in a bar. When she rushed over, the two were about to engage in indecent acts on the sofa in public. Serena Shin pulled Simon Shin up and slapped the woman. Who allowed you to touch him? Unexpectedly, Simon Shin pushed her away and took the woman's arm. Are you crazy? Why did you hit my fiancée? Serena Shin looked at the man who had said he would marry her not long ago in disbelief. Why did you do this? Simon Shin sneered. Of course, it's to climb up the social ladder. Don't think I don't know, even though I'm the nominal young master of the Shin family, I'm ultimately just an adopted son with no blood relation. Those profit-driven wealthy families in the capital city wouldn't be willing to marry their daughters to me. I thought that if you could marry me, I would be the head of the Shin family in the future. Who knew you were such a coward, offering yourself to me naked in bed and you didn't dare to touch me, only daring to vent your desires on a robot. Miss Jenny is a noble from France and is not much worse than your Shin family. I have already slept with her, and she is willing to let me marry into her family. Please be polite to my fiancé. Unexpectedly, Miss Jenny pushed Simon Shin away upon hearing this, revealing a sarcastic smile. Mr. Shin, I think you misunderstood. We went to bed because we both wanted to. I never wanted you to marry into my family. Simon Shin immediately became anxious. What do you mean? I was tortured by you in every way possible all night. You can't go back on your word. Jenny sneered. What it means is, I was just playing with you. Compared to everything you did to Mr. Chin, I've been very polite. But the way you were acting like a slut last night should already be spreading in the capital circle's upper class. Simon Shin gritted his teeth. Did that dog Ethan Chin send you? Of course not. I'm just one of Mr. Chin's admirers from when he was studying abroad. He doesn't even know I exist. I just couldn't stand seeing you bully him. But a promiscuous person like you, let alone marrying into a wealthy family as the legitimate son-in-law, I'm afraid even being a mistress would be considered too dirty. After saying that, Jenny glanced at Serena Shin with contempt and left smartly. Serena Shin knew the meaning of her glance. You can't even protect your own husband. Are you worthy of marrying Ethan Chin? Simon Shin cried and took her hand. Erica, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say those things just now. It was because you wouldn't have me that I did something stupid in a moment of impulse. Please forgive me. You love me the most. You won't just stand by and watch me be ruined. You will definitely marry me, right? But this time, Serena Shin pulled her hand away and said lightly, no, the one I love is Ethan Chin. But I won't abandon you. I have a friend in Southeast Asia who has lost 3 husbands and wants me to introduce her to a husband. You can marry into her family. Although she's 50 years old, she still has some money. You won't go hungry or be cold. I'll have someone send you over later. We won't have to meet again after you have a good life over there. Simon Shin widened his eyes in disbelief. How can you send me to an old woman? Don't think I don't know. Those 3 men were all tortured to death by her. You can't do this to me. Serena Shin pinched her eyebrows wearily. It's not that exaggerated. She's just a bit bad-tempered. Don't worry, I'll tell her not to hit you. Live a good life after you go over there, and we won't have to meet again. After saying that, she ignored Simon Shin's cries and pleas and had the bodyguards take him away. Just as dawn broke, Serena Shin person Ally flew to Germany in the private plane she had developed. She was going to bring her husband back. When Serena Shin appeared at the Chin family mansion, I was kissing Carol Chin. It was funny to say that I had lived for almost 30 years and had even been married once, but this was still my first kiss. What are you doing? Seeing Carol Chin, Serena Shin exploded and rushed over to slap Carol Chin. Carol, I treated you like a sister, and you're kissing my husband? Carol Chin was my childhood neighbor and had always liked me, but I used to be completely focused on Serena Shin and never responded to her feelings. Later, she never got married, not even a boyfriend, and moved her business abroad with my sister. Knowing that I was divorced, she pursued me again, and this time, I didn't refuse. Carol Chin sneered and slapped Serena Shin back. Ethan has been married to you before. He is now my fiancé. Why can't I kiss him? Serena Shin was stunned and looked at me in shock. Is what she's saying true? I nodded. Of course. Serena Shin angrily looked at Carol Chin. Ethan has always called you sister, how could you do that to your brother? Before Carol Chin could speak, I spoke first. We're just neighbors, why can't we? Simon Shin is still your adopted brother. Didn't you still covet him? Serena Shin's eyes showed guilt and remorse. I used to like him, but after you left, I realized my feelings. I've already sent Simon Shin away, and I won't contact him again in the future. Let's go home, okay? I've really fallen in love with you. My sister just happened to come out and kicked Serena Shin to the ground. Serena Shin, how dare you come here? We all grew up together, and I entrusted my brother to you. Is this how you treated him? What has my brother done to wrong you? He almost went blind for you. How did you treat him? You heartless dog, I'm going to kill you today. My sister kicked, and Serena Shin fell to the ground, covered in blood. In tea. I was afraid that someone would die, so I pulled my sister away. Serena Shin looked at me weakly. Ethan, as long as you come back with me, I'm willing to die. I looked at her coldly. Then please die far away and don't dirty my Chin family's land. Serena Shin, I admit that I once loved you very much, loved you so much that I lost myself and lost my dignity. Of course, that was all my own will, but you shouldn't have married me when you clearly didn't love me, and made a robot sleep with me. You didn't treat me like a human being at all. Serena Shin desperately shook her head, wanting to explain something, but I interrupted her. I paid too much for you to love me, it was really tiring, but Carol Chin let me know that being loved can also be very simple. In front of her, I don't need to lose my self-respect, I can be myself, and even be a better version of myself. Even if you like me now, so what? My voice won't recover, and my love for you will never come back. So Serena Shin, please leave, please don't appear in front of me again. Since you couldn't give me happiness in the past, then please don't ruin my happiness now. That day, Serena Shin knelt on the ground for a long, long time. I don't know when she left, but I knew she wouldn't appear again. That day, a private plane suddenly crashed on its return trip. The deceased was a Chinese woman with the surname Shin. When she was found, she was tightly clutching a piece of broken brick in her hand. And no one will ever know that the brick carried a boy's unwavering devotion to love. The end.